a single loaf of bread, or 100 kilograms of gold. If you lived 20,000 years ago, choosing the bread would be the smartest decision of your life. Sounds impossible, right? Today, people spend fortunes chasing gold. Entire wars have been fought over it. Empires have risen and fallen because of the shiny yellow metal. But for most of human history, gold was almost worthless. You couldn't eat it. You couldn't turn it into a spear. You couldn't build a shelter with it. And if a hungry cave lion was charging toward you, gold would be about as useful as a handful of sand. So, how did something that once had almost no survival value become one of the most valuable materials on Earth? The answer isn't just about gold. It's about the moment humans stopped thinking only about survival and started believing in something far more powerful: value. Picture a small band of hunter-gatherers somewhere in Ice Age Europe. The sun is setting. Children are gathering firewood. Adults are returning from a long day of searching for food. Everyone is thinking about the same question: will we eat tomorrow? For people living during the Upper Paleolithic period, survival depended on calories, clean water, warmth, reliable tools, and trusted companions. Evolutionary anthropologist Dr. Sarah Blaffer, RDY, has argued that cooperation and food sharing were essential to human survival. A successful hunter often shared meat with the rest of the group, creating social bonds that increased everyone's chances of surviving future hardships. In that world, wealth looked very different. A sharp flint blade could butcher an animal. A warm animal hide could save you from freezing temperatures. A healthy campfire could keep dangerous predators away. A skilled hunting partner could mean the difference between life and death. Gold could do none of those things. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of stone tools, bone needles, hearths, and hunting weapons from prehistoric camps across Africa and Eurasia because these objects had immediate survival value. Gold, however, is almost completely absent from the earliest hunter-gatherer camps. That absence tells us something important. Early humans invested their time in collecting what helped them survive, not simply what looked beautiful. The renowned archaeologist Richard Leakey, whose discoveries transformed our understanding of early humans in East Africa, often emphasized that our ancestors evolved under constant environmental pressure, where practical resources mattered far more than decorative ones. A glittering yellow rock could never feed a hungry family through the winter. But before you assume ancient humans completely ignored shiny objects, there's a fascinating twist. Archaeologists have discovered prehistoric people collecting seashells from distant coastlines, bright red ochre pigments, eagle feathers, and carefully carved beads. Why would people carry decorative objects over hundreds of kilometers if survival was so difficult? That mystery leads to an even bigger question. Maybe gold wasn't useless because humans failed to recognize its beauty. Maybe it was useless because humanity hadn't yet invented the one thing that would eventually make gold priceless: money. But here's the real mystery. If gold wasn't valuable, why did humans eventually become obsessed with it? The answer begins with one simple fact. For nearly 95% of human history, our ancestors lived as hunter-gatherers. According to evolutionary anthropologist Robert Kelly, these groups were highly mobile. They followed animals, searched for seasonal plants, and often moved their camps every few weeks or months. Now think about what that means. If you had to carry everything you own on your back, would you fill your bag with heavy rocks? Or with food, weapons, water, and tools? The choice was obvious. Every extra kilogram of weight meant burning more energy. And in the Stone Age, energy was survival. This is why archaeologists consistently find practical objects at prehistoric campsites: flint tools, bone needles, wooden spears, animal hides, fire-making equipment. Every item had a purpose. Gold didn't. Then something remarkable happened. Around 12,000 years ago, in different parts of the world, humans slowly began settling instead of constantly moving. This period, often called the Neolithic Revolution, completely changed the meaning of wealth. People started farming. They built permanent homes. They stored grain. For the first time, families could produce more food than they immediately needed. This surplus changed everything. Archaeologist V. Gordon Child famously described this transformation as one of the greatest turning points in human history. Once people settled in villages, wealth was no longer just about surviving today. It became about planning for tomorrow. Suddenly, people owned fields, animals, storage buildings, homes, and when ownership appeared, so did status. Some families accumulated more resources than others. Some communities became richer. Some leaders gained more influence. Humans had entered a completely new world, a world where symbols became almost as important as survival itself. Gold fit perfectly into that world, not because it was useful, but because it was extraordinary. Unlike iron, it doesn't rust. Unlike wood, it doesn't rot. Unlike stone, it shines brilliantly even after thousands of years underground. Its rarity made it special. Its beauty made it desirable. And its durability made it ideal for displaying prestige. Archaeologists have found some of the earliest known gold artifacts in prehistoric Europe, including ornaments from the Varna necropolis, dating to around 4500 BCE. These burials contained thousands of gold objects placed beside only a few individuals. The message was unmistakable. Gold had become a symbol, not of survival, but of power. But wait, if gold still couldn't feed you, still couldn't protect you, still couldn't keep you warm, why would anyone trade valuable food for a shiny metal? The answer reveals one of the greatest inventions in human history. Not farming, not writing, not even the wheel. It was something invisible, a shared belief. And once millions of people accepted that belief, gold stopped being just another metal. It became wealth itself. So, what was that invisible invention that transformed an ordinary yellow metal into one of the most valuable things on Earth? Trust. Not trust in a person. Trust in an idea. Money has value only because people collectively agree that it does. Gold followed the same path. A lump of gold cannot satisfy hunger or quench thirst on its own, but once entire communities agreed that it represented wealth, its importance changed forever. Economic historians often describe this as one of humanity's greatest social innovations, the ability to assign shared value to objects that have little direct survival use. As villages grew into towns and towns into civilizations, trade expanded over enormous distances. Merchants could no longer carry sacks of grain or herds of animals everywhere they traveled. They needed something compact, durable, and widely recognized. Gold was almost perfect. It was rare. It was easy to recognize. It did not rust or decay. And because it was difficult to obtain, people couldn't simply make more whenever they wanted. Long before modern banks existed, civilizations such as those in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia used gold to display wealth, reward loyalty, and support long-distance trade. Over time, it became closely associated with rulers, temples, and political power. Archaeologist Colin Renfrew has written extensively about how expanding trade networks help transform valuable materials into symbols of status and influence across prehistoric Europe and the ancient world. But here's the fascinating part. Your brain still thinks like a hunter-gatherer. Psychologists and evolutionary researchers suggest that humans naturally pay attention to rare and difficult-to-obtain resources because, throughout most of our evolutionary history, scarce resources often improve survival. That ancient instinct didn't disappear. It simply found new targets. Thousands of years ago, it might have been a reliable source of fresh water, a skilled hunting partner, or a cache of food. Today, it can be gold, diamonds, luxury watches, or other status symbols. In many ways, our modern economy still reflects ancient survival instincts, the desire to collect valuable things, to prepare for uncertain times, to compete for status, to earn respect within a group. These behaviors have deep evolutionary roots, but they now play out in a world completely different from the one our ancestors evolved in. And that's why the title of this video is both true and misleading. Gold really was useless to ancient hunter-gatherers. If you offered a starving family a bag of gold or enough food to survive the winter, the choice would have been obvious. Food was wealth. Fire was wealth. Knowledge was wealth. Strong friendships were wealth. Those were the resources that truly mattered. Yet, once humans settled down, built societies, and created systems of trade, wealth stopped being measured only by what kept you alive today. It became something you could store, display, exchange, and believe in. Gold itself never changed. The metal lying beneath the Earth's surface is exactly the same today as it was 20,000 years ago. What changed was us. Our societies grew more complex. Our economies became interconnected, and our shared beliefs gave ordinary materials extraordinary value. So perhaps the greatest treasure ancient humans ever discovered wasn't gold at all. It was a remarkable human ability to cooperate with complete strangers, build trust across generations, and create systems of value that exist because millions of people agree they do. Without that shared belief, gold is simply another metal. With it, civilizations can rise, fortunes can be built, and history itself can be shaped. The next time you see a gold ring, a gold coin, or a gold bar locked inside a vault, remember this. For most of human history, your ancestors would have walked right past it in search of something far more valuable. Their next meal. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden history behind everyday things, there are countless more mysteries buried in humanity's past. Sometimes the most ordinary object in the modern world has the most extraordinary story. Until next time, stay curious, because the greatest discoveries are often hidden in plain sight.